Welcome to a nutty adventure exploring personal growth and wellness, breaking down the stigma around mental health along the way. Let's dive in because now it's time to show me your nuts.
Good morning, everybody. It's Tuesday, and you know what time it is. It is a definite nutty Tuesday with the weather. Am I right? Like the Great Lakes and the Northeast got slammed. And the South is cold. And here in the Midwest, we're playing with 3 different seasons in 1 week because that's how we roll in Missouri. So I'm going to peek at the chat real quick, and then I'm going to get us going on today's show. So there's nobody in the chat. Oh, there she is. There's Miss Sang D. Speaking of Kansas City and the Midwest. Good morning, Sang. I guess we're awake because it's not like weird weather, maybe. I don't know. Or it's Tuesday and it's Veterans Day. I do not want to forget to mention that today, because to me, this day is not the only day I remember those who serve. And I'll say those who serve militarily, but also we're going to get into some other service topics today. But those who have served in the military to protect the freedoms that we were born with, to protect the freedoms that the previous generations here, going back 100 plus years, 200, almost 200 years, almost 250 rather. I can't math this morning. To protect those freedoms for us, they've fought, they've died, they've stood at our borders, they've stood at others' borders, they've stood at borders to help protect other people and to fight for their freedoms as well, for that matter. You know, it's important to me to take a moment and think about those who chose to be in the military, those who didn't choose to be in the military but were, the families that didn't always make a choice to be in the military but had someone there, those who sacrificed time, they sacrificed being away from their families, they sacrificed their lives, and they were ready to do that so that we could have something as simple but fragile as freedom of speech, and simple but fragile but freedom of religion not being mixed with our government, of being, everybody says, oh, you're liberal, you're not for the Second Amendment. Oh, yes, I am. I'm for every single one of those amendments. The 19th is my favorite. Don't get me wrong. But, and this isn't a political show, but I think our mental wellness is attached to our freedom, and our freedom is attached to that service. And today is that day. So I wanted to go down at least that far in that part of the path to talk about how important those who have served are to me as an individual. I think about my stepdad who served in the Vietnam War. I think about my uncle-in-law who also served in Vietnam. Many family friends and friends of mine and their family, their families who served there. One of my social work babies who served in Desert Storm, who ultimately that service cost her life, and not because she died in the line of service itself. I'm thinking of you today, Jenny. I miss you terribly. You were one of the best social workers I've ever had the honor to work with, to serve with. Which kind of also brings me to service, not just being military service, and our topic today of aligning our actions with our values. The Breakthrough Show Network needs Kleenex as a sponsor. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm just, being real. So November, we're talking about values, and we're talking about service today, and service to humanity, service to others in humanity, and what true service to humanity is, and how aligning our actions with our values how that's all one big pot of stew, if you will. It's all flavorful and all there. So we're going to talk about the importance of aligning our actions, the things we do, with the values that come out of our mouth that we say we hold. Because if we say we hold a value, what value, as in how much is it worth, is that value if we don't walk the walk? Why hold values if we don't uphold them with our actions? Because values without upholding them with our actions are just words. They're just words. So this morning, as we try to do frequently here, it's time to find out how charged your nuts are. And the question of the morning to find out how charged your nuts are is, on a scale of 1 acorn to 10 pecans, how aligned do you feel your values are with who you actually present to the world? And it should also say, and your actions of the day. On a scale from 1 acorn to 10 pecans. And that's important because there's an acorn, an acorn's the beginning, a pecan is nut perfection. On a scale of 1 acorn to 10 pecans, how aligned do you feel your values are with who you actually present in the world and the actions you take every day? Let me know in the chat. And Jessica's here with an 8 because she's actually an 11. Don't let her lie. She's actually an 11. Her actions not only align with who she is, she doesn't over align, but she's there. And Sang is a solid 8. And I'm going to have to say she's probably more like an 11 too. These women under nutting themselves, I swear. I'm joking because I actually am thinking about how my own, am I on a 1 to a 10 pecan? I'm going to have to call myself probably an 8 also, because I don't believe that I am in any way perfection, but I do very much pride myself on whether I'm aligned with what things come out of my mouth with what actions show behind that. And I actually go back to the show a couple weeks ago with Jessica, what Jessica and I said about being all in. And I think being all in has to do with the things that you say out of your mouth. And is that aligned values with action? And so, yes, I'm going to say, I don't think I'm a 10 because I'm human and fallible and I will as quick as anything. I'm really good, really, really good at putting my foot in my mouth. No matter how hard I try, my foot will go straight in my mouth and I will say something that will either hurt somebody, confuse somebody, or not come out like I wanted it to. And I would be remiss if I didn't admit that in public. I mean, as in, hello, that's my value, my top value of integrity and my action of who I actually present to the world. I need to be truthful in saying what I know happens. And I know my foot goes straight in my mouth and I end up saying things I don't want to say or didn't mean to say or that were hurtful to somebody else. And I have to clean up my own shit. And I think I just, that wouldn't work. I would undernut, I'm not going to undernut myself, but Sang's got the emojis on point this morning with the undernutting. Wrong one for Jessica. Chat's moving too fast for me to catch the comment I wanted to catch. One lose, 1 point for 1 point for clutter, and 1 point for the amount of cake. Yeah. Cake is still important. Cake is and always will be important to life. I don't know how people live without cake. It's got to be a sin to live without cake. And of course, we have a lesson here from the Queen of Joy herself. One thing I think we need to observe as humans is not just what comes out of our mouth, but what comes out of our fingers, what we type. Boom. Because to me, what comes out of our fingers when we type is it's something coming out of our mouth. It's saying it, whether we are saying it with our mouth or saying it with our fingers, and even saying it with our faces. We need to observe, analyze, but also have grace with what comes out of our mouth, our fingers, and our face. Because yes, my foot is going straight in my mouth and I know it ahead of time, but I don't know when my foot is going to come out of my mouth, or, that I'm going to do something. As much as I think about it ahead of time and I try, my intention is never to harm. I'm still going to hurt somebody, and that's going to happen. It's just going to happen. But I think the disconnect of thinking that what comes out of our mouth and what comes out of our fingers and what comes out of our face, like our nonverbals, is two different things. And like, it's okay to type something, but it's not okay to say something, but all the things. It's still the communication, and we need to observe, observe, analyze, but then also have grace with when we need to. We need to have grace with ourselves. And yes, it absolutely does not align for a lot of people, because alignment, I think the alignment is the key there. Is we don't think about, are we aligned? We don't think about, somehow we think that when we type something, it's different than when we say something, and that when we type something, it's just words. I think we're in a place where we communicate so frequently through type and quickly, and in arenas where we'll just shoot this off and go, shoot this off and go. The alignment doesn't happen before the shooting it off happens. Let me know in the comments if that lands for you guys, if that's kind of what you're thinking too. And I don't want to put words in Jessica's mouth, but I want to put words from Stacy's mouth and see if they align with Jessica's, because that's another alignment. Is are you doing true service to other humanity when you align not only your actions and values, but when you work with other people, when you do anything with another human, communicate, etc., and connect, not that you have to align your actions and values with each other, but you have to respect where the other's alignments and values are. And you can still connect even though you are, I'm trying to make this wavy thing here. Well, here, we'll do it this way. You can still connect even if your values don't align with each other, and even if your actions don't align with the other. You can still come together and respect each other. And it comes down to listening, observing, not only what they're doing, but self, and allowing there to be growth. Not long ago, there was a situation that happened. I was on I think it was actually like an audio call. It wasn't even a video call. And the question was, the gauntlet was thrown to me that said, "Ooh, that was a hard no." So a question was asked to me, and my answer gave the other person the well, the other person picked it up quick and said, like, "Ooh, that was a hard no. Are you sure? And are you not willing to look at other options?" And luckily, I heard the "that's a hard no," and went, "Oh, wait a minute. Is it a hard no for me, or can I stop myself and think and see if the other opportunities out in the world can still fit with my choices, decisions, values, needs, all the things?" And this person just called me out on my own shit. And um I think when you respect each other and care for each other, you can call each other out on your own stuff, and you can come up with new solutions that wouldn't have been there otherwise. And so that person, by calling me out on my stuff, helped me come up with a new possible solution to the thing. To be honest, at the moment, I can only remember the, "Oh my God, that was a hard no," and me changing my thinking. And I can't even think of what the decision was. That's okay, because it's not for today's show. But I think it's important for us to um, listen to each other. Um, when we're talking true service, service is also listening, isn't it? How can I serve you if I don't listen to you? How can I serve you if I don't know what it is you're wanting, needing, or doing? And serving is not about me. Serving others is about the other person. Now, that doesn't mean that serving doesn't involve me, doesn't involve my knowledge of self. So some of the other service professionals that I'm thinking of, service to humanity is not just in military service. It is very important today that we're thinking of that. But service to others in humanity could be going and volunteering at a local hospital to sit with children who are sick. It could mean serving on a board of directors of an organization that needs multiple voices, and not being afraid at that point to speak your voice to add to the group, even if it's unpopular. To go and volunteer at a local food bank to help them just collect or distribute food to those who need it, because the benefits that they should have are not there for whatever reason. And I think any of the things like that for service, we forget that volunteer, that taking time out of our egocentric day to do something for another human is what service is. Service also, obviously, we talk about, during current COVID, one of the biggest things that came up is, those who serve, we're going to highlight those who serve, and we talked about doctors and nurses and police officers and firefighters and EMS. And I got in my feels because I still hold this when I see things that say, "Oh, service members like that get a discount." And I think of my colleagues out there in social work who are doing the work in the trenches, in dangerous situations sometimes, in unhealthy situations sometimes, in scary situations sometimes. When I think of them and I think of, oh, okay, so we're gonna talk about the police officers and the firefighters who are obviously very much, and in dangerous shit. And I thank God for them. And we think of the nurses and the doctors who are holding people's lives in their hands. But what about the cafeteria worker in the hospital who's making sure that the doctors and the nurses get fed? Or the housekeepers who are going in there and working as well to make sure that the people have clean rooms to be in? Or the people who work in the maintenance areas of the hospitals to make sure that the electricity is on, to be able to provide those services. And then, yes, I still don't get that all of those colleagues of mine, and that the social workers that were not thought of either. It's, oh, the police officers and firefighters and the doctors and nurses. Well, I'll sit here and say to you that working in the mental health field is also service, because when you hold someone's life in your hand because they're suicidal in front of you, and you're the one at that moment, you are the one that is in between them and their choice of being alive or not. That is some heavy, heavy shit. And don't get me wrong, I've done it and I'll do it again. It's part of what I do. But it's heavy too. And teachers, oh my gosh, and saying, brings up, a person who loves to be behind the scenes. The people who make things happen you don't see are always underappreciated. Always, always. And Shay and I've talked about a friend of hers who's a teacher. The teachers, they're making sure, and let me describe teachers as either the teachers in public school classrooms, in private school classrooms, in colleges, and also the home teachers, the homeschool, the moms and the dads who are making sure their kids have an education. I see you. I see you. And I see what amazing children you are growing, by the way. That's all service as well. It's all service to another human being. It's taking our values, putting them into action, and those actions serving another human being to their betterment. Serving a human being to their benefit. Sang's daughter would gift the lunch lady and the bus driver every month. Oh my God. That just, like, the hair on my arms just stood up. the lunch lady and the bus driver, and I'm thinking like the janitor at the school and whatever, and that they loved her and would do anything for her just because she was kind and appreciative back. And what I am pretty sure of also, that lunch lady and bus driver would have done anything for her without the gift, but the gift reminded them that they were seen, heard, and appreciated. And then we have comparison conversation. Ooh. Yeah. That reminds me of the show on 2D not long ago when you were talking about human beings, Jessica. So like you guys who are watching, if you've never seen Beyond 2D, I don't know where your dial is on it's I believe every other Tuesdays, where your dial is every other Tuesday late afternoon, evening. And take that Beyond 2D, and 1 week it was 3D because the Sang D joined them. And tonight, the 2D shows tonight. Okay, I don't sing. I'm not the singer in the family. But I'm gonna go back to the comparison thing and join it just for a bit, because you discussed being human beings. We're all human beings, and we're all incredible. And it's being able to honor that without saying, and I hope I am interpreting these typed words well, because we all run those typed words through our own filter, and then it either gets us excited or gets us pissed, and we, when we run it through our own filter, something else comes out, and sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not exactly what the other person meant. Honor humans, honor ourselves and other humans for being incredible beings without having to say, well, what about blah, blah, blah? Because you do get into comparanoia. It's that we are all incredible humans. And I think it's when certain groups of people consistently get left out, I think that's when the feels come up and that's when the things happen. And it's that when people are left out of the discussion at all, and without needing to say, well, what about this or what about that? I think it's when people are consistently left out of a discussion and others are consistently and always brought in as a group, or when, I think it's, we need to all fight for all of us being incredible humans and being the light shown on us for being incredible humans for each of the things we do. And I think it starts individually between one person and another, but it also goes up to that higher level of, as a society, what do we do? And each of us has the power to lean into the gratitude for another human. So as individuals, we have the power, and I would say the responsibility. I'd say it's a responsibility to lean into gratitude for another human and lean into gratitude straight up. Tonight at I missed one of the comments. I thought it said tonight at 6, and I missed that comment. Okay. You guys, I can't. Oh, it's right there in front of me. That whole where are my glasses and they're on my head thing. We're continuing to peel off the labels at 6 p.m. Eastern on 2D tonight. And it's like peeling an onion, and it's peeling off the labels and peeling. Watch the show, you guys. Watch 2D tonight. And speaking of gratitude, I've just got to play this.
Hi, I'm Margine Dugas. I co-host on Project Joy, and I would say what I'm most thankful for is my friends and family and being on the show.
This year, I am thankful for the lessons that have shaped me, the people who remind me of love, and the creative energy that flows through my everyday life.
I am Olivia Bunny, and this year I'm most thankful for the gift of life and music. This year, music has gotten me through so much, and it's just really shown me how important it is to be present. So that's what I'm thankful for this year.
I'm so grateful for all the people I've met through our show, my co-hosts who I find as my dear family, and the Breakthrough Show Network hosts and co-hosts, and Jessica Dugas, who makes it all possible.
My name is Leah. I'm a co-host on Project Joy, and I'm grateful for my family and joy this year.
And this year, I am most grateful for other human beings who allow me to be fully me.
For the amazing people that I'm surrounded with. I'm so thankful for the accountability, the people that show up even when it's challenging or not convenient, and the love that we share together.
Gratitude, baby. It's all about being grateful. And that can raise your vibration so much. Although I can't think of the word gratitude or being grateful without thinking of my cousin David. And he's not on my show, hasn't been on my show, probably won't be on my show. But he's got a line of amazing children's books called DJ's Adventures that will just bring a smile to your face and make you laugh and make you cry and make you cutest. Talk about gratitude, and it's gratitude for friends, and it's alignment of values. And look him up, David McBee, MCBEE. Look up David McBee and DJ's Adventures, his children's book series. It is so freaking cute. And actually, I think that he wrote that book series probably as a form of aligning his actions and values and service to humanity. But I think of gratitude with him because that's kind of he has immersed himself in that word, and that word makes his life just bright. It makes his life bright. So David, if you end up ever watching this, yes, I'm shouting you out, cuz. So let's reach back. Let's reach back a little and talk about our own stories of value-driven actions and service to humanity. I want to see in the chat, if you were to pick one thing you've done in your life at this point, and it doesn't have to be the biggest thing, it doesn't have to be the most recent thing, just pick a thing that you have done that you're proud of, having aligned your actions with your values and provided service to others. And even if there's organizations you've worked with where aligning actions with values and providing service was a core of the organization. Personally, I'm thinking of having grown up in a youth organization, which originally was called Campfire Girls and then now is called Campfire. And the watchword, or the slogan, if you will, for that organization is "Woe He Low." And it's based on the three words: work, health, and love. And, so the first two letters of each word. And that organization instilled in me service in action. It instilled in me the importance of service to other human beings. It instilled in me leadership of groups of people, to see groups of people. I observed many mothers and daughters, because predominantly it was a female organization, and there were, all the mothers providing leadership and the daughters learning leadership from their mothers, to which I did. You guys have heard me talk about Cashew Quilt on here and how many things I have learned from her. But she's not the only one I learned from there. One of my dear other mothers, Ramona, taught me so much, helped me bring together my values when I was a teenager and needed to learn those things, helped me understand what was and wasn't in alignment with who I think I wanted to be. And so, that organization taught me many things about service to humanity, about service to others, about leadership within groups of people, about lots of different topics, lots and lots of different topics. I still have several of my, I'll call them little sisters, who we still communicate with each other because we apparently I provided an example of older person leadership to them. It was kind of scary. They're about 9 years younger than me, and so that's why I say little sisters, because they were younger, but now we're all adults, right? Oh, so I'm heading to the comments, and Jessica might as well be on stage dropping the anchors through the floor, because she drops microphones and they go all the way through the floor. And like this one goes to China. This one drops all the way, through the earth, probably on to other planets. Because in order to host or co-host a show on the Breakthrough Show Network, there has to be alignment with our values. And it's something that other networks don't do. They don't even look at it. They don't even look at, is there alignment not only with the person doing the show and their show, is there alignment in that values, but is there alignment of their show, their values with the network they are on, and thusly with everyone else on the network, and the manifesto of the network, and we're all here for the same cause. And I think, I'm not sure, but I think that is the key to how all the shows on the Breakthrough Show Network align in their topics and in their subject matter at the same time so frequently without planning it. So I guarantee there's something that Beyond 2D was already just thinking about talking about tonight, or already had scheduled to talk about tonight, that will line up with what you have heard me say today. And we don't rehearse. It's like my favorite band in the world, or one of my favorite local bands, Troubadour Retrievers. They've been together 20, 30 years. They don't rehearse. They've been together 20 years for sure. They have never had a rehearsal, but they step on the stage and act that way all the time. You would think that they've rehearsed tons and tons. The Breakthrough Show Network does not rehearse and plan together our stuff so that it comes out at the same time. It just does. And I think it just does because that initial alignment, and definitely because of the leadership of the network and the reason the network exists to begin with. And if you don't know some of that story, look up the Blue Duck Society, because the Blue Duck is coming soon. And I'm proud to say I'm an original duck. And that's what I'll say about that. Sang loves that the Breakthrough Show Network has alignment. And Sang is like totally aligned, whether she knows it or not. So when we were talking about, I said, give me your examples. Jessica's got one. I think this is an example from that. Left an organization recently because the core values did not align. The passions aligned, even the future vision, but the values were off. And since passions and vision and actions lay on top of our core values, if your foundations don't align, then whatever you build on top of it, if you've got two foundations here, one here and one here, and they don't align with each other and you build something on top of it, if they don't align, then there's a seismic shift, and the building, whatever it is you build on top of it, isn't going to stand. It's not going to stand. I wish I had blocks and stuff. Maybe I should have had, props for this morning. Speaking of aligned individuals, I love Sean Michael. I'm glad to see you this morning, brother. Speaking of people who are aligned with it, you must have heard me talking about service to humanity and alignment with values and actions, because you do the thing. I'm reading through. Up, quack quack, or as I'll say, I want to know. This is something. So Jessica's I'm gonna say more about the Blue Duck societies. There's a thing coming, and I joined the Blue Duck Society without completely reading what it was going to be about, because I just knew it was going to be awesome. Because I knew that the leader of the Blue Duck Society, was somebody who was aligned with their actions and values, and that it was going to be an amazing thing no matter what it was. So quack, quack, back to you. But my question is are we going to play duck, duck, goose? I think we need to have like quack, quack, or duck, duck, goose needs to be like a secret knock to get into the room. That's all. And seriously, folks, I did know, I did read the words and could tell what Blue Duck Society was going to be before I joined. And it's, helping you build the thing that you've been saying you want to build. All about accountability is what I can see. And of course, yeah, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's got to be a duck. But what if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, but it's really a goose? That's all I want to know. And I haven't heard the word britches in a bit. Jessica says, hang on to your britches. And Sang D's going to clutch her pearls. Oh, are you sure? Oh, we get to play duck, duck, get it done. Ooh, I like that even more than duck, duck, goose. Duck, duck, get it done. Like duck, duck, goose, duck, 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 get it done. And so if you're the one that ends up where it's get it done, you better have had your stuff done, or you're out or something. I don't know. You guys, this morning has definitely been fun, but serious at the same time, because I do think we all have an obligation to provide service to each other at one level or another, or one time in our life or another. It doesn't mean you have to always be in service to humanity, because you might be the one who's needing something at the time. And we're all on this rock together. Like we don't have a choice but to all be on this rock together. Right now, none of us have left to move to another planet permanently. There are a few people who should, and a few that want to, that maybe should. But we're all stuck on this rock together, hurtling through space. And right now, there's not a way for us to just not do that. So I think that we absolutely have a responsibility to each other, to our own mental wellness and to each other's mental wellness, to be of service to each other, even if it's being of service by holding space and listening to see what that other person is, what the other person wants to be, and where you can help them in their journey. It's listening to what others' values and beliefs are and opening up your mind to be able to maybe shift your, I'm not saying shift your values always, but shift your understanding such that you can understand the other humans more. And maybe in that, understand yourself more. Just like that morning not long ago when somebody said to, or morning, I don't even know what time of day it was. And they said, that was a hard no. And that person felt comfortable enough with me to say, to confront me about my no, such that I could look at myself. And I appreciate that moment so much because they called me out on my stuff. And I appreciate the fact that their actions were aligned with their values and my actions had been aligned with my values, and we understood enough about each other for me to allow hearing that and for them to be comfortable saying it to me. Because if they weren't comfortable enough saying it to me, I might have never stopped and thought about the other things that were the other pieces of opportunities that were available to me in that situation, and what else would have been possible, such that I could make a new choice and maybe have a new situation. We've got duck discussions going on here. The ducks are flying. But I gotta ducks, squirrels, raccoons, we're all about all the animals here. And we're all about accountability and accountability groups. Sean Michael, I hope you'll post information about that in the comments over there. Not just that you host an accountability group on Go Brunch, but that you'll post over there in the comments how to get to that and what people can do to come join you. Because hello, everybody, you guys, if you don't know Sean Michael, what are you waiting for? What the heck are you waiting for? He is an incredible human. The animals on the show may well be rabid today. Yes, we might have rabid animal today. We've got 7 people in the watching the show, and I am so excited that there's 7 people watching live. You guys, that makes my heart feel good. And it apparently it's not feeling good enough to heart at the moment. But tell me, what's the one service? So we've got 7 people. I expect 7 comments. What is the one piece of service that you have done to humanity that you either are the most proud of, that you can remember right now, that you are glad you did? And it doesn't have to be big service. It could be a little service. It could be, stopping and grabbing somebody's wallet off the table that they accidentally left there, and you handed it back to the person, or you handed it to the manager of the place. So Sean Michael, even though you haven't scheduled that this month, can you put something in so people can connect with you? Maybe your LinkedIn or somewhere where they can connect with you so that they can watch and find out about that accountability session when it happens. Sang is, as usual, helping keep notes in the chat and question. It's one piece of service you've done for humanity that you're most proud of or glad you did. And I'm going to sit here and wait while you guys drop those. I know there's a little bit of lag, but come on. One piece of service that you have done for humanity and something you've done for another person. Ooh, over 100 Thanksgiving meals to homeless in your hometown. Drop that mic, Sean Michael. 100 people ate who might not have had food in their mouth. If you've never gone without food, well, either by choice or by not choice, If you've ever gone without food and you know what that feels like, think about not knowing when, how, or whether you're going to have food, and somebody makes sure that you do. Somebody makes sure that you do. We would not be sitting here without the Breakthrough Show Network. Jessica almost quit after one season of the show. And somebody messaged that you didn't even know and told you the show changed your life. Well, that makes you keep going. That makes you definitely keep going. Ooh, and it was a real meal with all of the trimmings and takeaways so that people could have not only that meal, but a second meal. Absolutely. Because what's Thanksgiving without leftovers? We just planned ours the other day. My brother and mom and I had planned what we were going to eat, and we planned it not realizing that we wanted leftovers, but after I picked what we picked, we're like, oh, because we're getting it from a grocery store. We're like, oh, we're going to have food for like weeks because all of us eat a little less than we used to. Having been a recipient of a handwritten card from Sang D, being a daughter of a breast cancer survivor myself. Jessica, pass the Kleenex. Pass the Kleenex. 1,000 handwritten breast cancer survivors and personally delivering them. Personally talking to 1,000 people who joined that club they didn't want to join. It's a club nobody asks to freaking join. And to be a survivor of that shit, of facing your mortality and having to choose to go through things that nobody wants to go through in order to live, and having somebody write a handwritten card to you and deliver it in person. Sangness. I got a hug waiting for you. I got a hug waiting for you. Jessica's home is open every Thanksgiving, even though it's a teeny tiny apartment. Her door's open, and some people come, and sometimes it's just them. And one of these days, I'm gonna just knock on the door there, because I got a hug waiting for you too, girlfriend. One for you and one for all them kids. Yeah, I think so. I think a Kleenex sponsorship is I think a Kleenex sponsorship is really like, yeah. All right. I need to ask Shawn Michael. NEGU. I get the give up part at the end. Is it never ever give up? That one's a new one. I hadn't seen that one. Kleenex, can you come help us out? We're called the Breakthrough Show Network. Our actions and our values align with service to humanity, but it comes out in the form of on-camera tears, off-camera tears, and we just need some Kleenex, please. I mean, even just enough for all of the hosts to have a box with them next to them all the time. That'd be great. That'd be great. Or even a Kleenex commercial for the show. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, or plant paper, please. Yeah, plant paper, because that would align even more with our values. Plant paper, can you, whatever. If you're a tissue company out in the world and your values align with the Breakthrough Show Network, could you just send us a few? Because, send Jessica a truckload. But the rest of us, can you just send us a box, please? Please. You guys, you have been watching Show Me Your Nuts. And I want you to show me your nuts if you're watching this in the future. And show me what you view as your action that is aligned with your values, that is service to humanity, and how you're going to take the next step in that to provide service to someone, to another human, to make their heart more calm, to make their minds more at ease, to give them solace, to give them hope, to give them the knowledge that someone else cares. Just to give them the understanding that someone else cares about them. Because I think that by itself, it's not bad to give someone hope. Because giving someone hope gives them fuel for their future. And just like when Jessica started the network and almost quit, that one person saying, "Your show changed my life," gave her the fuel to go on. And then now we're sitting here with a network full of shows that align, that give hope to humanity. So show me your nuts and show me how your nuts give hope to humanity. I'll see you next week for more.
Thank you for joining us on this nutty adventure. Remember, personal growth and wellness are journeys best taken together. Keep exploring, keep growing, and don't forget to show me your nuts next time.